when we look into warming up for a conditioning piece, Hunter and I are sitting here right now, and a significant portion of our blood volume is in our torso, sitting around our organs. And there are kind of two scenarios, and you probably, if you think about it long enough, can think about how both feel in exercise. Hunter gets a phone call that his apartment's on fire right now. And
thank fucking Christ.
well, let's pretend, Hunter's golf clubs are on fire. I don't know. Something that surfboards. There's a surfboard fire.
Yeah. Okay. Got it.
Yes.
Big problem.
Yes. Huge problem. His body is like panic mode. It is going to contract his midline and push as much blood as he can down into his lower legs, or lower half into his legs. And one of the ways that it does that is it jacks your heart rate to the sky, because the more your heart pumps, the more it can push blood, basically. So when we are on a machine and we're feeling fantastic, and then our legs feel rather heavy and our heart rate is through the roof, and we don't understand how that could possibly happen, you didn't warm up.
Yep.
You didn't warm up in the way that your body wants to. The more natural way to warm up is to slowly tell your body that in 12 to 15 minutes, you want it to be in a certain state. And the two things that are happening here are, we're probably going to, a great example would be getting on the rower and warming up. You're getting muscle contractions in so many different spots in your body, that there is a cue there that area of your body could benefit from some blood flow. And the easiest way to do that is to slowly increase your heart rate. So if we have muscle contraction and we have a slow increase to our heart rate, our body is not going to panic, and it's going to allow you to send blood everywhere. We're going to send blood and oxygen and nutrients to the areas that will help you basically get into a place where you can warm up really well. And one cool thing about why we put this in here and why we're so crazy about even warming up for zone 2 type work is when they look at how the body processes lactate and is able to clear it. Basically, if you got onto a bike and were riding at a zone 2 pace, somewhere between 12 and 15 minutes, your body would be having a horrendous time clearing waste. It just gets to a point. That's why people are like, I can never get up to my heart rate on the bike, because it does take that 12 to 15 minutes. So you get to that point, and then if you had gradually worked yourself up to that spot and then rested a little bit, you then, for the next 60 to 90 minutes, are going to clear waste better than you could before.
Right.
So it's at its worst in that 12 to 15 minute range
to essentially accumulate that
exactly
waste.
And that's where we get athletes running into a wall. That's where we get athletes who feel great 2 laps of a 5K, and that 3rd lap are completely falling apart, because that peak is in that zone of, and again, we all know what it feels like, a 20-minute AMRAP where you're like really, really falling apart somewhere in that 12 to 15 minute range. Yeah. And then those ones where you're just like, man, I just keep adding another round. And it's just a slow increase of the heart rate there. So we are trying to slowly introduce movement and blood flow into your body. Take a little bit of a rest, and then we can really get after it, and your body can do a really good job of clearing waste. But again, that's 12 to 15 minutes. There's probably movement prep built into that. Yep. If it's a high intensity workout, you're going to want to go even further than that. So maybe you do the 12-minute version of the warm up where you go from resting heart rate somewhere up near zone 2, nice and slow. But then you want to, go spin on the assault bike a little bit to rev the engine and go through the movements. So we're looking at 20 to 25 minute range.
Total warm-up time
when you're
depends
like truly 3, 2, 1 go.
Depends on the ranges of motion that are required. Rowing and burpee box jump over is not different than chest to bar pull-ups and overhead squats, right? So as far as like ranges of motion and muscular activation that's required. But yeah, I think even if you're on the short end of the machine-based warm-up in the 12-minute range, even like 10 if you're trying to condense your time frame, the combination of like taking a piss, doing any activation that you need to, you're in that 20 to 25 minute range for sure.